My friend. We're going to start. Jennifer just got here, so right on time for getting started the class, right? Okay, guys, this week we're going to be working our week number 6. And it's just one class. It's just one simple class, but it has a lot of information. So let's get here really focused and concentrated because it's going to be a lot of information, a lot to process, right? Guys, this week we're working about life lessons. So, means the things that we have learned through all our lives, right? The lessons that we have learned the good way or the hard way. Yes. So, when we say learning something the hard way, it's like learning with a lot of difficulties, or learning the good way, which is like learning from good experiences, right? So in here in the infographic, it says, look at some of the most important moments in our lives. So in here we have the first job, graduation from school or university, leaving home, like emancipating, right? Traveling to other different cities, a new skill, probably an important purchase. What is the meaning of purchase, guys? Purchase. Any ideas? What is the meaning of a purchase?
Teacher, eso es como ingresar.
No, that is a compra, una compra importante, a very
Um,
purchase. Let's, for example, if you buy an apartment, that is an important purchase. Or if you buy your first car, that is an important purchase, right? Or if you buy, I don't know, something important for you, no? The new motorcycle or something like that, that is an important purchase in your life. Or, for example, having children, that is an important moment in our life, or starting a new relationship, or ending a relationship, divorcing, right? Or also the loss of a loved one, right? Do you know what is the meaning of lost? The loss of a loved one.
perder,
Exactly, la
como
pérdida.
el amor
Exactly.
ok.
So when we say una pérdida de alguien, de un ser amado, right? Of a loved one, right? So in that case, it's also an important moment. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good, some of them are bad, right? For example, the first job is something good, or having children is something good, or starting a new relationship is something good, right? While others are not so good. Like for example, divorcing is not so good, or the lost or losing a person, a relative or something, it's something bad, but it's also an important moment of our life, right? In here, we can find other different moments. Let me just erase this part. We can find other important moments like moving abroad. What is the meaning of abroad? Do you remember?
Extranjero.
Yes, Cami, very good, my friend. Yeah. So it's in another country, no? So moving to another country, that is an important change in life. Or, for example, changing schools or universities. Yeah. Starting, as I said, a new job or knowing new people. It's important to know new people. Traveling, we already mentioned. Studying something new, no? Like, for example, with the moment that you started studying English, you started studying something new, is an important moment of your life, or the new relationship, or practice a new sport or a new skill. Yeah. Getting something new, which is an important purchase, as I said before, or, for example, learning a new language. More specifically, they are some of the most important moments of our life. Guys, in your case, which of these one probably is one of the most important moments of your life? Any of these ones, or a new one, a different one? What do you think?
Mm, teacher, in my case, em, es que como, how do you say, como uno de los más,
One of the most.
one of the most, yeah, one of the most important moments in my life is when I'm I'm getting graduate.
I graduated. You could say I graduated.
Okay.
From university
Um,
or from school?
no, the university in more specific to my postgraduate.
Okay. Is a magister or a PhD?
No, it's
Specialization?
PhD.
Is a
Yeah,
PhD. Good, excellent.
yeah,
What
yeah.
was it about,
It's
Cami? What is the topic of the PhD?
mm, is a little complicated to spell.
Uh-huh.
Is um uh, in English is strategic. No, is management of strategic marketing.
Yes, great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Eh, sí, es más o menos así.
More or less.
Yeah.
And when was that? When did you graduate?
Business International.
Oh, no, but when? In what
Ah,
year did
okay.
you
When
graduate? Mm.
the postgraduate is was in 2022. Yeah.
2022. Great. Excellent, man. Muy bien. Thank you, Camilo. That is great. Excellent information. Well,
Okay.
my dear Jennifer, so what about you? What's one of the most important moments of your life? Bueno, wait. Are you in the house? Can you participate today? Yes.
Yes, teacher, sorry
No,
for
no,
the
no.
last
No
class.
problem. So,
Yes. For me, one of the most important moment was when I um got or when I get my current job
mhm.
in la Universidad Pedagógica Nacional.
Okay.
Yeah, that moment was very important for me because I started in 2017.
Oof, a lot of time ago.
Yeah.
Okay, muy bien. Thank you, Jennifer. Very good. So, you got a UPN job in 2017, which is where you are working right now. So you have been working there for 8 years?
Yeah, 8 years in March. The other year
Mm.
is 9.
Oh my God. Okay, very good. Excellent. That's great.
Will be.
And of course,
Yeah,
the UPN is an excellent institution. So, well, it was a good.
yeah. Work in a um, public, no sé, como trabajar con el Estado, ¿cómo diría
Yeah,
eso?
as a public employee, as a public clerk.
Yeah, it's very great because there are more
Hmm.
bene,
Benefits,
yeah,
yes, benefits is
benefits.
fine. Yes, exactly. Bueno, very good, excellent. Of course, except, but do you work in the university or you work in one of the offices around?
I work in the university at Calle 72.
Hmm. In the main part, in the
In,
main venue.
yeah, in the main part, in the Facultad de Ciencia y Tecnología.
Okay, very good. Well, so the
Yeah.
only problem there is when there is a riot, it's very small and you have to smell.
Yeah, it's strong the smell, but right now I am como acostumbrada,
I am used to,
used to.
used to. Yeah, of course, you get used to that. Then when you start smelling, you know, okay, it's my day off, and then you leave, right? Okay,
But
very
it's
good.
a great job.
Yeah, of course, a great job. Okay, my dear. So, well, in this case, guys, you mentioned two different moments of your life which are really important, right? And they are really important because they change your life in certain ways, right? For example, well, I have a lot of different moments of my life, right? But one of the most important moments of my life was when I was really, really little, when I was really, really young, in the year 2000. In the year 2000, yes, I lost my dad 25 years ago, right? But that experience changed my life forever. Yeah, it was not a good experience. It was a really bad experience, but it changed my life forever. Why? Because after that moment, not immediately after, because I was 8 years old, but some years later or with time, I learned, I learned to be more independent. independent, right? But that is, or that was thanks to the experience of losing my dad. So this experience, which is a turning point means an important moment of my life that changed it, yes? So creates another consequence. In this case, the consequence is that I learned to be more independent, yeah? But if I want to connect and be really specific, I can say that after my dad died, yes, comma, I learned to be more independent. Yeah, because my mother was really busy working and stuff, and my older brother was kind of busy with his family and everything. So I grew up kind of alone. So in that case, after my dad died, I learned to be more independent. That's something that happened, right? But in that case, it was because it was some time after, yes? But for example, I can also mention a different thing, and I can say, for example, that once he died, wait, sorry, once he died, my family, my family had financial issues because, of course, financial problems or financial issues because of course my mother was supporting the family by herself, so it was more difficult for her, but it was not sometime after, it was immediately after. So in that case I can use other connector, which in this case is once. What is the meaning of once? Do you remember what is the meaning of once?
Una vez.
Una vez, right? So in that case, una vez que murió, chao, right? It's also after, but it's immediately after. When I say after, it can be a lot of time after, but when I say once, it's immediately after the situation, right? Or I can also mention something that happened before. So, for example, before he died, I was really spoiled. Do you know what is the meaning of spoiled? What is spoiled? Any ideas?
Arruinar.
Literalmente es arruinar. El verbo spoil es
O
arruinar,
sea, sí,
but
pero arruinado.
arruinado sería como el past participle. Pero cuando hablo de una persona who is spoiled, digamos que no tan literalmente podría ser arruinado, sino consentido. Ready? So, for example, when I say, oh, my girlfriend is so spoiled, pues is consentida, right? Entonces, when I say a person, or especially kids who are spoiled, it's because they are like mommy and daddy love them a lot, no? So like they are really, really how do you say that? They do what they want, no? So that case, and they get what they want. So in that case, I was really spoiled, pero before he died. Entonces, fíjense que la situación es la misma. Yes, my father died, but I am mentioning different consequences. After my father died, this happened. But immediately after he died, this happened. And before he died, this was happening, right? So in that case, guys, when we want to mention these kind of situations about the past, we can do it easily. But if we want to be more specific, we can use these time adverbs. Ready? We have after for talking about later, the moment, as soon as, and once, immediately after, when, immediately at the same moment, before, pues of course before, and by the time and until, which are going to be different. By the time it's para cuando, and until it's hasta. So in that case, usually these two are used to mention something that had happened before, right? So for example, when I say here, okay, after my father died, I learned to be more independent. Both sentences are in simple past and simple past. Once he died, simple past, my family had financial troubles, simple past. Yeah, because it's one after the other. Before he died, I was really spoiled, simple past. Yeah, but when I use by the time, for example, by the time he died, same situation. Yes, I had never lost a relative. In that case, when we use by the time, the first sentence it's simple past, but the other one is in past perfect. Why? Because this is something that had happened or had never happened before that moment. Yes? So when we say until or by the time, we usually use past perfect in the second one, right? So there are going to be two different situations. One, it's the situation or the moment of my life, and the other one, it's what I learned or what changed after that moment or before that moment. Ready? Now, you mentioned two different moments. One from Camilo was graduated in 2022. We know that it's from PhD graduation, but graduated in 2022. And Jennifer mentioned got her job in 2017, right? Guys, think about it and tell me what is something that you learned or something that changed in your life after or before this situation. Yes. Remember, you can use any of these eight connectors. What they do is that they relate the moment of my life with the thing that changed. No? So, but maybe the change was after, or maybe the change was before, or maybe the change was at the same time, or maybe the change was right before. So you can mention as you prefer. Okay? So think about your changes and try to create an example similar to this one. What changed in your life with that situation?
During this process, teacher?
Yes, I mean, during the process of your life, what changed when you graduated from the PhD? Something changed or was everything the same?
Hmm, no, but it's a shame to increase my skill in special skill. For example, pay attention more in uh, the business English classes.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
And Kabi, was that change immediately after the situation, after the graduation, or it was later after?
Um, no, it was immediately.
Immediately after, yes?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't. I have to waiting to my graduate. I just study a lot of time and yeah, I achieved this goal fast in about in a 1 year.
But wait a second, Cami, was that after or before you graduated?
The postgraduate after to the other career.
Oh, yeah, of course. But no, when you said like the English, the business English class.
Mm, for that is during this process. So mm, I would change um, in this process during this process.
Ah,
Um,
okay, I got it. Wait, no, not yet. Because you're thinking, well, what could you change hypothetically from the past? Yeah?
okay.
But no, in this case, we're thinking what really changed in your life. What caused the graduation of the university of the postgraduate? For example, a better salary after the graduation, a better job, more free time, for example. What was the consequence of graduating from the postgraduate?
The postgraduate works me to um, earn a lot of money
Excellent. That is
after.
exactly one of the consequences. So, for
Yeah.
example, here perfectly, we could say that. So let's say after, wait, let me just think about it here. Good.
For example, right now, after day to tomorrow, I I will. Hmm, T-shirt. How do you say como firmar contrato o
Sign. Sign a contract.
sign?
Sign.
Time?
Sign like Signed, like this. Signed.
Okay, signed to a new contract
Yeah.
in the HL. So I really need the English to speaking with my clients.
DHL, this one?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my God, that's a huge company, right?
yeah. For that, I need learn to this language for my own good.
Good, excellent. Yeah. Well, exactly like that, what we can do, it's just using it in the past for mentioning the things that changed in my life. For example, after I graduated from my PhD, comma, that was the situation after I graduated from my PhD, I started to earn a lot of money. Yeah. So you said, yeah, después de que me gradué, empecé a ganar, right? So that's it. But maybe you said, teacher, but you know what? En el momento en que, the moment I graduated, en el momento en que me gradué, exactamente el momento, no después, sino justamente el momento, que es lo mismo que decir una vez que, o tan pronto como, as soon as, right? The moment I graduated, no sé, I had problems finding job, right? O finding a job, right? Entonces, dependiendo de lo que yo quiera expresar, Cami, voy a usar el conector que requiera, puede ser cualquiera de estos ocho, y el cambio que hubo. Entonces, después de que me gradué, empecé a ganar mucho dinero, pero tan pronto o en el momento en que me gradué, tuve problemas para conseguir un trabajo, right? Entonces, lo que estamos viendo acá es ese conector ahí que uso, que puede ser after o the moment o as soon as o by the time o before para describir pues qué sucedió en ese momento. ¿Listo? Entonces por eso ambas van en simple past. Graduated, started, had, simple past en ambos casos. ¿Listo? Excepto si es obviamente by the time, en cuyo caso la consecuencia realmente es hacia el pasado, usaríamos past perfect. ¿Listo? Ready? My dear Jennifer, questions no sino examples.
Well, teacher, before I got my job,
Ujú.
I sleep late.
Well, very good. Así de sencillo, pero muy bien.
Yeah.
Exactamente. Entonces, simplemente, ¿qué pasaba antes de que consiguiera el trabajo? Before I got my job, pasado simple, antes de que consiguiera mi trabajo, pues dormía hasta tarde. I slept, o digamos, solía dormir. I, I used to sleep late. Perfecto, así de sencillo, right? Eso cambió, es decir, que after, voy a tomar la libertad de hacer la siguiente, sorry. Once I got my job, ¿qué pasó? I started to wake up earlier.
Early.
Ajá. Es exactamente la misma idea, solo que con la estructura contraria, ¿cierto? Antes
Mhm.
de conseguir el trabajo, pues solía dormir hasta tarde, o sea que una vez conseguiste el trabajo, pues ya te tocó levantarte más temprano, ¿cierto? Entonces,
Yeah.
esos conectores en este caso me permiten justamente eso, pues poder describir una idea como yo la quiera expresar. Puede ser para adelante, para atrás, es decir, puede ser hablando de qué pasaba antes o de lo que pasaba después, ¿cierto? Pero en este caso, pues con la misma situación, antes de que consiguiera el trabajo, después de que consiguiera el trabajo, inmediatamente, justamente después, ¿right? Entonces depende del conector. Bueno, questions hasta ahí, guys, con estos conectores, difficulties, problems.
No, teacher is practice.
Fine,
No, teacher.
fine, very good. Entonces, vamos a hacer un ejemplito rápido aquí con past perfect. Ejemplo, Jen, antes de ese trabajo, ¿habías tenido salario alguna vez? Antes de ese trabajo.
Yeah, yo, bueno, lo diré en español porque no sé. Yo fui aprendiz del SENA y tuve la práctica.
Ah, bueno.
Pues, ya.
Pero ese era el único trabajo que habías tenido antes de eso.
Sí, antes de empezar era el único trabajo y fueron 6 meses en una empresa de transporte llamada Al Día Logística.
Perfecto. Excelente, like that. Entonces I said, until I got my job, hasta que conseguí mi trabajo, que solo había trabajado en una empresa de transporte o solamente había
Okay.
hecho mis prácticas, por ejemplo. Entonces, I solo había previamente, right? I had only, oh, sorry, I had only worked, yes, in Al Día Transport, ¿cierto? Entonces, mira, usando had, digo, hasta que esto sucedió, lo más normal es que la siguiente sea past perfect para describir algo que había o no había pasado antes de esto. Entonces, en este caso, hasta que conseguí el trabajo, yo solamente había, I had only worked in Al Día Trans. ¿Ready? Lo mismo podríamos hacer si quisiéramos hacerlo de forma negativa, como, no sé, hasta que trabajé en Smart, nunca había recibido un salario. Entonces, until I got my job at Smart, I had never had a real salary. Es un ejemplo, ¿vale? Like that, right? So I had never had a real salary. Mirando hacia atrás de esta situación. ¿Vale? ¿Listo? Better?
Yeah, teacher.
Listo, perfecto. That is great. Entonces, my dear people, that is the first part in which we describe the situation of our past. Yes? If it's something good or something bad, well, it's an important moment of our life, and that is what we want to change or what we want to express, ¿cierto? Entonces, que moving abroad. Sí, of course, after I moved abroad, I learned to speak in English, for example. Or after I knew my best friend, I started to be more confident. Could be, yes. Or no sé, I would say after, no, they say the moment I started to learn English, I became more fluent with my friends. Or I don't know, right before I started my new relationship, I was very insecure and immature. So moments of our life and how they change our life. Ready? Now, Camilo was telling us something that he would like to change from the past. He was saying like, teacher, I would like to have paid more attention in the business class, in the English business class, because I suppose that in the moment he didn't pay attention so good, so he had to make an effort in the past. That is called a regret. Okay? A regret, in this case, it's something that, well, do you know what is the meaning of regret? What is that? Any idea? No, no ideas. Regrets, ¿a qué le suena? What is that?
¿Arrepentirse?
Mm.
Arrepentirse o arrepentimiento. Ready? So in that case, something that we don't like of our past. Yeah. This case, for example, Camilo was saying like, teacher, I didn't pay much attention in the business English class, and I wanted to pay more attention because later after that, I had to study harder. No. So when we want to express a regret, something that we don't like of our past, we are going to use the expression debería haber hecho tal cosa o no debería haber hecho tal cosa. In which case, you know that debería, it comes from deberías, right? So it's like the verb should. But of course, it's should in the past. Guys, do you remember how we can use should in the past? What is the past of should?
Would?
No, would is another modal verb similar, but it's not the past tense. What is the past tense of should? Eso lo vimos por allá terminando en básico 2, por allá al final. What is the past of should? Well, that is a tricky question because should doesn't have a past tense. So what we do when we want to work with should in the past is using should or shouldn't, have, and the verb in past participle. This is free saying like debía haber hecho tal cosa o no debía haber hecho tal cosa. debiste haber hecho tal cosa o no debiste haber hecho tal cosa. So it means expressing regret. Ready? So, because for example, if I say, no, cometí un error, no debí haber hecho eso. So, should or shouldn't plus have plus the verb in past participle. Ready? For example, Camilo said, debió haber puesto más atención en clase de comercio internacional, right? So, okay, I should have, debí, I should have, haber, right? I should have paid more attention in class. I should have paid more, sorry, attention in class, right? So in that case, look at this. This is going to be should have and the verb in past participle. Paid, of course, is the past participle de pay. You know, it's pay attention. So in past participle, it's paid attention in class. Debí haber puesto más atención en clase, right? But if it's something that you did, but you didn't like, algo que hiciste pero no te gustó, then it's something that you shouldn't have done. Shouldn't have done. No debiste haber hecho, right? So, for example, like, you know what? I wasted my money on, no sé, on cryptocurrency, for example. I shouldn't have done that. No debía haber hecho eso. I shouldn't have done that, right? So in that case, guys, expressing regret, it comes with should have and verb in past participle, right? Taking into account that today we're working on our most important moments of our life, yes. I said that one of the most important moments of my life was in 2013, in the year 2000, mentiras, antes por acá. In the year 2013, I had the opportunity to travel to Mexico, but I didn't do it. Why? Because I was very afraid of traveling alone, and there was like an exchange with the university. Yes, but I was afraid. I wanted to do it, but I was scared of traveling alone. So I didn't pay much attention on the paperwork. What is the meaning of paperwork? Paperwork. ¿Qué le suena paperwork?
Papeleo.
El papeleo, muy bien, very good. So there was a lot of paperwork and I didn't pay much attention because I was scared. And then I lost the opportunity to travel to Mexico, yeah, to study in, I think it was in Monterrey or something like that. But anyway, so I lost my opportunity. Now, in my perception, I consider that I should have traveled to Mexico in 2013. That is my regret because I didn't do it, but it was specifically for fear. Yeah. So then I regret. I said, like, I didn't do it and I wanted to do it, but I was scared. So I should have traveled to Mexico, right? That is my regret. What about you? What do you regret from the actions that you have had in your past? Maybe something about school, maybe something about social relationships. What do you think?
Well, teacher, my regret is I should have finished my specialization,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't that. I yes, I didn't that because I did diplomado.
Oh no, my God.
In this moment, I didn't know about I can study my specialization like trabajo de grado final de carrera.
Uh-huh.
No lo sabía. Only I knew about the diploma. Then I did that. And my regret is that I'm should have finished my specialization, and because right now I can I must uh, do that.
Mhm. Of course.
Yeah, it's something sad.
Oh my God, so sorry for that. Yeah,
Thank you.
when we lack information, mm,
Yeah, por no haber preguntado.
exactly. Well, Jenny, in that case, I didn't do it. No lo hice. No lo hice, pues, obviamente lo que ya mencionaste, que era lo de la especialización. I didn't do it. Y esto se pronuncia todo
Okay.
junto. I didn't do it. Y es, in this moment sería en este momento. Por eso cuando hablamos del pasado es in that moment. En ese
In that
momento.
moment.
In that moment, right? Muy bien. Very good, Jennifer. Excellent. So I should have finished my specialization. That's it. Very good. And Camilo, my friend, what about you?
Teacher, in my case, my regrets will be that I make two bad decisions in the love
Mm-hmm. Okay.
because I I ay, ¿cómo lo digo? Hmm, I am holding on mm, a lot of things that hurts me
Okay.
during this process with the different persons to I think I thought that in that moment um they um, can't appreciate me for myself.
Okay.
Yeah, so I regret holding that things.
Exactly, very good. Well, in that case, when we say muchas decisiones malas o demasiadas, it would be too many bad decisions. Too many. Because bad,
Okay.
ready? Too many bad decisions. Listo, perfect. So the regret is that you said like, "Ah, no debía haber aferrado a eso, right? So in that case, that is the thing. Recuerda que para hablar de regrets, it should have y verb en past participle. So you said, ah, teacher, I shouldn't have held. Held is el past participle de hold, right? So I shouldn't have held so many things because, of course, they are not good
Okay.
for you, right? So you said, "Ah, no debía haberme aferrado a esas cosas tan malas, right? So many bad things, no? Because they are bad things. So in that case, you could say, I shouldn't have held so many bad things inside myself. They were hurtful for you, right? So okay, muy bien, that's great. So guys, when we want to describe those regrets, it's as simple as saying, I should have or I shouldn't have, right? So, lo que debiste o no debiste haber hecho. I should have, no sé, I should have worked harder. I shouldn't have wasted so much money. I should have been more disciplined. I should have, no sé, been more self-secure. A lot of different things, right? Now, if we have some regrets, it means that we wanted to change something of our past. Yeah. For example, I would like to change that trip in the past because I didn't do it. And that caused me a lot of not really big problems, but some kind of problems. For example, I wanted to study Italian, but I couldn't do it because the course was only in Mexico. Here in Bogota was not available. For example, I wanted to study English as a academic purpose or something like that, and that course was only in Mexico, not here. Yes. So I think that if wait, let me just here write it down. If I had if I had traveled if I had traveled to Mexico when I had the opportunity, yes, I would have learned more things about my career because they were some other different subjects that I could have taken there, but I didn't because I didn't travel. So this is all an imaginary situation about, well, about English, let's say about English. That was my career, no? So if I had traveled to Mexico, I would have learned more things about English. Now, guys, this is a hypothetical situation about the past. So I am here, I am imagining this hypothetical situation. If I had traveled to Mexico, this is about the past. That's why we have to use past perfect in the cause. If I had traveled to Mexico. Si yo hubiese hecho tal cosa. It's a hypothetical situation in the past. And that hypothetically also could have caused this consequence. But that consequence is also imaginary. It's not real because neither of these two situations are real. Both are imaginary. So in that case, the consequence is that I would have learned more things about the past or about English. But this is also in the past. That is why we use would, have, and the verb in past participle. All complete, guys, it's called the third conditional. Okay, the third conditional. Now, the third conditional, guys, it's simply, a ver, wait a second here. The third conditional, it is used to describe a past hypothetical situation. Es una situación hipotética en el pasado. ¿Qué hubiese pasado si yo hubiera o no hubiera hecho tal cosa? En este caso, si yo hubiera viajado, si yo hubiera viajado, en la parte de la condición de third conditional usa pasado perfecto. Entonces, if, como siempre, el condicional if, the subject and then the verb in past perfect. Si yo hubiese hecho tal cosa. And then the complement. ¿Listo? Esa es la parte de la condición. It's imaginary. And then the consequence. The consequence is also imaginary, but in that case, it's just modal verb, could, would, okay, have, and the verb in past participle. Entonces, if I had traveled to Mexico, I would have learned. Si yo hubiese viajado a México, habría aprendido más cosas. Right? Ambas, tanto la condición como la consecuencia, son acerca del pasado. So, guys, ready? So, in that case, it's simple as that. Una condición hipotética del pasado que tendría una consecuencia también hipotética en el pasado. For example, Mr. Camilo, could you please help me to read this example here?
If I had more patience, I wouldn't have broken up with her.
Exactly. If I had had more patience,
Okay.
I wouldn't have broken up with her. O sea, si hubiese tenido más paciencia, ¿qué no habría hecho?
Mm, tell me, teacher.
Si hubiese tenido más paciencia, acá en el ejemplo dice, if I had had more patience, si hubiese tenido más paciencia, ¿qué no habría pasado?
No hubiera tenido que terminar con ella.
No habría terminado con ella. Exactamente. ¿Listo? Entonces, en that case, ambas son en el pasado una situación hipotética que tiene una consecuencia también hipotética. ¿Vale? ¿Qué tal? Questions, difficulties, problems.
No, es simplemente curioso que se repita el hat, teacher.
Ah, bueno, aquí se repite el had porque por casualidad el verbo es tener, ¿cierto? Cuando el verbo es
Ujú.
tener en past participle, como el auxiliar es had y el past participle de have es had también, entonces queda had, haber tenido o había tenido, ¿ready? Entonces, por eso se repite. Pero si el verbo fuera otro, pues cambiaría tranquilamente. Por ejemplo, acá, if I had traveled, ahí no se repite had, sino que queda con el past participle. En este ejemplo en específico es porque, pues, el ejemplo es si yo hubiese tenido. en cuyo caso el verbo tener es el mismo que el auxiliar, ¿vale?
Vale, teacher.
Entonces, very good. Bueno, my friend. Jennifer, questions, difficulties, problems in that case?
Teacher, I have a question.
Yes, Dylan.
Mm, I have the examples with where in case has with with examples with where. O sea,
Ajá.
where de where como si fuera
To be.
primera persona.
Ah, ok, got it, listo. Entonces, no sé si se acuerdan que en este caso, cuando tenemos digamos, inglés irreal, o sea, como una situación irreal, uso el pasado normalmente, ¿cierto?
Ujú.
Pero cuando es verb to be, como si yo fuera tal cosa, va a usar were para todos los pronombres. Entonces aquí queda como si yo fuera, if I were, if she were, if we were. ¿Listo? Pero en este caso, eso es para segundo condicional normalmente. Es decir, cuando hablo de esta estructura, que es past simple. ¿Listo? Pero en el tercer condicional hablo de past perfect. Entonces, de pronto, si yo quisiera decir como si yo hubiese sido, que no es lo mismo que decir si yo fuera, sino si yo hubiese sido más disciplinado, por ejemplo, en ese caso es if, sí, pero if I had been. ¿Por qué? Porque es past perfect y no past simple. Este where funciona es para el segundo condicional. ¿Listo? En este caso que estamos viendo el tercero, vamos a usarlo con if I had been, en caso que sea como si yo hubiese sido más o menos, si yo hubiese sido esto o si hubiese sido lo otro. ¿Listo? Pero ese where lo uso para si yo fuera en simple past, o sea, cuando es segundo condicional.
Ujú. Ok, teacher.
¿Listo? ¿Ready? Bueno, muy bien, very good. Entonces, guys, taking into account what we have learned today, I could say, for example, that if I had traveled to Mexico, I would have learned more English, more about English, ¿cierto? De mi arrepentimiento saqué que si eso hubiera pasado, pues esto otro habría pasado. ¿Listo? Now, tell me yourself, what is, I mean, from your regret that you said, like, no debía haberme aferrado a tantas cosas, o en the case of Jennifer, like, como debía haber hecho la especialización, ¿qué hubiese pasado si? Think about it and tell me, what would have happened? The question is really simple. What would have happened? What would have happened, comma, if you hadn't done that? Yes, what would have happened if you hadn't had that regret? If you had done the things differently. So think about it. Tell me, what do you think?
Mm, Teacher, in my case, if ahí sería, em, would, wouldn't.
En ese caso va el had. Cuando vas con if, ese va con past perfect. Y el would va en la otra oración, que sería la consecuencia.
Ok, entonces es if I have, em, eh, health.
If I had or if I
Mm,
hadn't.
ok, hadn't,
Ujú, ujú.
hadn't held, yeah. Um, Teacher, a question.
Ujú.
In this verb or okay, phrasal verb is with the on, hold on,
Yeah, hold on is
or
more like wait. Here it would be more like head up.
okay,
Ujú.
okay, held up. Um, the situation, yeah, with
Mhm.
they, yeah, with her.
Mhm. Yeah.
I would um, I would been
I would
okay.
have
I
been.
would have been uh, happier.
Good, very good. Happier and calmer.
Okay.
Calmer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's the way. So the first thing, it's a hypothetical condition. It is different from the past, but it's not real. So we are just imagining. And then what would be the consequence of that? That you would have been, in that moment, you would have been calmer and happier. That is great. Excellent, Camilo. Very
Okay.
good. Hmm?
Okay, teacher.
My dear Jennifer, what do you think about it?
Well, teacher, if I have done my specialization,
Mhm.
I will have had a better salary.
Good, very good. I would have had a better, sorry, a better salary. Perfecto, that's great. Así de sencillo. That's it. ¿Listo? This is the first thing. It's a situation hypothetical that could have caused another different outcome. So, guys, so today we have learned about our past, our different moments of our life, but it's not an experience. It's not telling you, sí, una vez yo hice esto, lo otro. No, no, no. It's talking about how one moment changed another, how the moment of your graduation changed your life, how the moment of your first job changed your life, how the moment of a new relationship changed your life, right? Saying as soon as, the moment, when, and also using some should have or shouldn't have for talking about what we regret from the past. Probably was a moment that changed our life, but for bad, for worse and not for better. So it's something that we regret using should have and shouldn't have. And finally, using this one, the third conditional, which is like, okay, in the case that we hadn't had that problem, what would have happened? Okay, so I would have been happier, I would have had a better salary, I would have learned more things about English, I would have had other different kinds of life. So it's talking about these three aspects, but all of them about past situations. Okay? Questions, difficulties, problems, how do you feel? Fine, not fine? What do you think?
No, teacher is practice.
Yeah, it's a matter of practice. Good. So, guys, the homework for today, it's really not a homework. It's just I want you to think about these things, right? I want you to remember the things of your life and try to make this exercise with other different moments. Probably something happier, probably something related to the academy, probably something related to money, right? Think about a situation, how the situation changed your life, what you would like to change of that situation. Like, if I had had more money, no sé qué, if I hadn't wasted so much money on Paris, si no me hubiera gastado tanta plata en fiesta, whatever. ¿Listo? So think about and make this exercise, but with other different situations of your life. ¿Listo? Guys, thank you so much for being here with me. See you the next week. The next week we're going to have, I think, two classes. I think, yes, two classes the next week. Oh, no, mentiras. No, the next week is also just one class, and then the week 8 is two classes. So, but thank you for being here, and see you the next class. Nothing. If you need anything, text me. Okay? Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Okay,
Thank you,
teacher.
teacher.
Thank
Have
you
a good
for
night.
Bye
everything.
bye.
Good
Thanks to
night.
you. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye, teacher.